Good morning and welcome into the Pats Nation. I'm Corso. Catone is here. You know who's not here? I said this yesterday. Joe's not with us in the booth today. I'm running the ship today, right? Mark.
Yeah. Wow. Listen, tell him to stay in London. We don't need him. He went somewhere. I don't know where he went. Stay there.
But we know you're all watching us on YouTube. And when you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Hit that little thumbs up, that like button. We want to see that. We always appreciate that. And when you are on YouTube, make sure you leave us a comment. We want to hear from you. We play them all. We talk about them all, whether they're good, they're bad, they're ugly. It doesn't make a difference. You know, you could talk bad about us, Mark, right?
Hey, of course, we don't
What's
care.
the difference? What do we care? That's fine. So make sure you're doing that.
Bad about each other on the air.
That's the hell. Yeah. But if you're listening to us, you're doing it on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you podcast, you can catch us. So make sure you're doing that. And listen, want to hear from you in Heated Hotline, 855-313-PATS, PATS. Hey, it's a message line. Leave a message 24/7. We're going to pick one. Let's let it be yours. Have a take, or you can email us in our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com. Hey, we got a good one today. We're going to go in Drake Mania, talk about Drake May, talk about what we need to do with this Buffalo game tonight when they kick off on Sunday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. Yep. And then we're going to also talk Pats preview, talk offensive breakdown, keys to victory, defensive keys to victory, and go into Coach's Corner, talk a little bit about, the pettiness, Mark. Talked a little bit about that yesterday.
That pissed you off. I know that pissed you right off.
It really did bother me. And also, we will talk Sunday Spread. We're going to try to make you a little bit of money. Hopefully, we can get a few of these things ready to go. So,
Yeah. Listen, I'm always ready to go.
How you doing? Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah,
how you feeling today, Mark?
Oh, I'm feeling good. Listen, I was at the game last week, so I might have had a couple of Bloody Marys last week.
Should be ashamed of yourself, the way, I mean, I can't even imagine, that's for another day. But you want to get into it? You want to talk a little bit about this game tonight and what we need to see? You wanted to talk a little Drake May?
Buffalo's wearing those white helmet, what do they call them? Rivalry uniforms. I don't like them.
Well,
we'll see what they look like live.
Do you like ours?
I don't know. I'm waiting to see what I saw a jersey, Chris, the other day in a store, and I don't think I like them. But we'll see when they're actually on them.
Yeah.
I don't think I like them.
All right, let's talk about Drake May. We're going to do it in Drake Mania. I'm going to do it right now. That's what I'm talking about. Sounds like the 18. It's not YouTube. It's not their music. So relax.
You'll get us banned and sanctioned.
It isn't theirs. It isn't theirs. So, Mark, last week he had a great game. 14-17, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ran in for another one. Was efficient with the ball. You covered it really well yesterday on Corso and Catone, talking about his efficiency and the things he's done. And I also in this segment, in a minute, I want to talk about some of his numbers. As they relate to Josh Allen's numbers. But he's been getting a lot of love. He's been getting a lot of love nationally, and this is what it's sounding like from the Rich Eisen podcast.
Drake May is 100% taking the biggest leap and playing the best out of anybody that was drafted in the first round of last year's draft, without a doubt. And then you want to talk about some of the things that he has done. We're going to start to hear him compared statistically through the first 2 years, through the first this, the first that. You're going to hear the name Tom Brady more often than not, because obviously that's the quarterback you're going to get thrown into the mix with when you're talking about statistics in your own team record book. But Drake May has had a 75% or better completion percentage with 2 or more passing touchdowns in each of the last 3 games. Look at this stat that we're putting up on the screen. The only one in NFL history to have a better such streak in a single season is Tom Brady in his 50 touchdown perfect season of 2000.
All right, that's enough of that.
Oh, come on now, really? Come on,
That's
Rich.
enough of that. What do you think of that, Mark? First of all, before we get into this game today.
Well, listen, I think he definitely has progressed, Chris, and is more.
By the way, there's another 9 guys on that list that had 3. After Tom Brady with 4, there's Drake May, and then another 9 guys.
And a couple of them were good, but then the others were probably ended up being stiffs, right? Like Manning's on the list.
They say Manning, Rodgers, Warner, and then 5 others.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, who knows who the hell they were, right? Yeah. So, listen, he definitely, Chris, has made the leap forward over the rest of the quarterbacks in that draft class. Now, we don't know what Jaden Daniels is going to do. He's been hurt. He only played week 1. So we'll see when Daniels comes back. They're going to probably be the 2 best quarterbacks from that draft. And I like Drake when they drafted him. I know you had some reservations, but I think we both agreed he did probably have, because of his inexperience, Chris, we both agreed when they drafted him, he probably had the biggest ceiling upside, right? Because of, and everybody, we agreed about his potential. And so now he's starting to move towards that, I think, with the help of Josh, which I know we're going to get into in a little bit. But you know what, Chris, last week, real quick, he was making throws down the seam, right? He was throwing it to tight windows. He was, he read, he was in sync and read what Diggs was doing on that 4th down. He threw the back shoulder throw. And you mentioned yesterday, Mark, that ball was thrown before he got out of his break. Diggs, you caught that. And that's what impressed you, was how he did that. And then he's still, Chris, improvising and doing the things like on the touchdown to Henry. He rolled out on the scramble for the touchdown in the red zone. And you said at the beginning of the season, you're going to have to let him do what he does, because if you take that away from him, then, he can't be him. Well, he's still being allowed to be him. And I think that's what we've been seeing, Chris, to Rich Eisen's point.
Yeah. No, it is true. And like you said, all of the above. And I think, he to his own credit, I mean, look, this is a guy that I guess they talk about trying to get him. He's too amped up at beginning game. He's a kid. He's a baby. He's 22 years old, whatever he is. I mean, there's so much further to go in all this. And, but when I hear him talk like this, when I hear the kind of energy, it's infectious.
After last week, in the week, maybe, talk about protecting the football and what have you. How pleased were you with the way things unfolded with your group today?
Yeah, just proud of the guys. I thought they played hard. Really get back to shoot our fundamentals and back to kind of establishing our identity. I felt like we did that, and I felt we didn't hurt ourselves. A few penalties that we would like to have back, and obviously some 3 and outs that we could have done a better job on 1st down. But I think proud of the defense. They put us in some great spots. Marcus Jones. Can't say enough about him. Shoot, he's played the best in the game at it. So, I think it was a full team effort and proud of the guys.
Yeah. So, I mean, he gives everybody else. He deflects. He gives everyone their props. Again,
like you said, though, he's a kid. He's a kid.
Yeah. He is a kid. What I like about what I'm seeing, and then let's get to today.
Tell us what you like.
Is, again, last week he spread the ball. There were 7 different receivers. 7 different pass catchers. I'm not going to call them receivers, but 7 different guys caught balls last week. Obviously, it's the kind of offense that likes 12 personnel, that likes the tight ends, that is checkdowns are going to be, encouraged to hit those checkdowns, if you may, right? Okay. But again, 7 different guys. The week before, I think it was 8 guys or whatever it was. So you're starting to see that McDaniels type of offense happening where Brady would spread the ball around to 8, 9 guys. So it wasn't like a huge amount of catches for somebody, one guy or another, but the ball's being spread around. And he's starting to take to that. And I like that. Okay, that's the one thing I like. He's not afraid to get the ball, check down, get it to everybody on the field. So he's playing well. I think he's doing a good job. They asked him about the dinking and the dunking. What do you think about
Drake,
that?
Is this kind of the best version of yourself, like kind of taking what the defense gives you, moving the ball around, managing the football? Like, is this who you project to be and who you want to be moving forward?
Yeah, sure. I sure hope so. If he leads to wins, that's what I'm trying to, become, and the quarterback I'm trying to become. There's try to do it, kind of just, my whole career kind of spread it around and give it to the guys that they can make plays. And, I think everybody's got some, chance in our team, our skill guys to make the defense, give them a problem. And I think we got guys on the team that are great with the football in their hands and just trying to do my best job to get to them quick and don't hold it.
So, again, he's taking to this offense and he's taking to it really well. Now, tonight, looking at this game, because obviously this is now their biggest test. Okay. What's he need to do? Because when you look at he versus Allen, I mean, this is the other part that I don't like these kinds of comparisons. But if you look at their numbers for this year so far, Josh Allen right now, he's thrown for 964 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, 77 QBR rating. He's got a quarterback rating of an average of 109. Okay. Drake May has thrown for more yards, not slightly more, 988, 7 touchdowns, same, 1 more interception. Okay. A little bit less of a QBR rating, but he's got a 109 average, same passer rating. Virtually identical numbers, Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, is that where the comparison ends for you? Or
at this point, I would say yes. I mean, he's not. Listen, I will say this though, Chris. I think Drake
and they
May,
both run for similar amount of yards.
I will say this though, Chris. I think at this point of his career, if you remember with Josh Allen's first year or two, Chris, you and I said to ourselves, "This kid's never
stinks."
Right. But so I think May is actually ahead of where Allen was at this stage of Allen's career. However, is he where Allen is right now? No, he's not. I think that comparison ends with those numbers. He's not where Allen is right now. No, absolutely not. But I'm going to tell you this, Chris. For the Patriots offensively, I do think they're going to have.
Well, we'll get into the offense next, but talk to me specifically about May. What is he?
So May, Chris, I'm going to tell you this. The Patriots are going to have to design some things to get May mobile, because Buffalo has had trouble against mobile quarterbacks, Chris. They struggle against mobile quarterbacks. So I think you might see him do some a little more designed RPOs this week, because, and I know they don't want to get him injured, but Buffalo struggles, Chris, against those types of quarterbacks.
Spencer Rattler last week for New Orleans, he ran 6 times for 50 yards.
That's what I'm saying. That Buffalo struggles against those types of quarterbacks, Chris. So I know you don't want to get May hurt, but I think you're going to have to get him mobile this week. I think that's going to help. And I think you can get – now, we're going to see just how bad our receiving core is. Because against this Buffalo defense, Chris, believe it or not, guys do get in space and make big plays against them. They do. But it's just a matter of, do we have guys that can do that? I think maybe Booty could, Diggs can, I think. But you against this defense, Chris, you can get guys open in space, and May's gonna have to be accurate, decisive, and he's gonna have to hit them. He can't get off to one of those slow-tempered starts, because you could be down 14-0. So I think you're gonna have to get guys in space, and May is gonna have to be real accurate, real decisive, quick decisions, and get that ball into space, because you can get into space every week against Buffalo's defense, Chris.
Yeah, listen, and the other thing too is, like you mentioned it, get him on the move. Now they've booted him out. They'll do some bootleg with him. They'll do some rolls with him, and you've seen that in the last couple of weeks that happened, and that's been good. Where that's been good. When he's rolling out, he's finding guys. It's allowing another second for an over route to catch up, to get open. If they're running sideline vertical stretches, say on a roll, which is basically what it looks like, is 3 guys layered down the field. A guy short in the flat, a guy a little intermediate, sort the out, and then another guy deeper running, say, a corner route. You'll see that when you see a quarterback roll out to one side, they want to flow. You're usually seeing sideline vertical stretch routes where they're layering those receivers down the field and allowing the quarterback to pick the window. Mm-hmm. Which guy am I throwing into? And so if he keeps him on the move that way, I know a lot of people are against, use your legs. But I think McDaniels has done a great job so far to putting him in that situation, although I don't think somebody else on the team thinks that he's doing that great of a job. I'm going to get to that in a second.
Chris, I'll say this segment. Based on, and this kind of piggybacks off what you just said. I know the last couple of weeks they've tried to condition him into check down, but I think he's going to have to be a little more patient this week, Chris. Forget the check down. Let guys get open in space because they will against this defense. Don't just automatically go to the check down, Chris. May's going to have to use, like you said, his feet, roll out, try to get a guy, let a guy get open in space because you should be able to against this team. Don't immediately go to the check down if you're May this week, Chris. Wait and see that extra second because somebody against this defense, I believe, will get open in space.
Yeah. So,
but don't immediately go to the check down. You're going to have to. I know that's what they want him to do, but to beat Buffalo, I don't think you can do that, Chris.
No. So he's going to have to be accurate. He's going to have to take care of the football. He's going to have to get him in and out of plays, good plays. He's going to have to set his protections well.
No turnovers. No turnovers.
Right. No turnovers. You're going to have to be careful with the ball and be smart with the ball. We've seen him do that now. And I think, if you do that, you keep your team in the game. And so we'll see what happens. But this Drake Mania was presented by Corson with the Catone, the real deal, New England Field. Saturdays, noon Eastern. Hey, we got Yankees. We're going to talk Yankees versus Red Sox, that series. We're going to talk more baseball playoffs. This game, we'll have the breakdown next week. So make sure you're sticking around for that. But when we come back, going to go Pat's preview and have our offensive breakdown. No flipping.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more
Corso and Catone. Saturdays at noon.
Back in with more Pats Nation. All right, Mark. So we talked about the quarterback. I think we need to now go and break down what does the offense need to do and what are going to be their keys to victory. And let's do it in want to do it in Pats preview? Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Pats preview.
Okay, Mark. So looking at the rest of this offense, and you started to get into this a little bit before as to what we saw last week from them and what we're going to need this week, obviously, against Buffalo. It's obviously the biggest challenge of the season. I'm pulling out those stats from last week. And going against this Buffalo defense, which, to me, this is the best defense they're going to play to date. You agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you? Well, first of all, before we get into what your offensive keys to victory are in this, I'd like to know why. Well, just you need to answer this for me. I want you to listen to this take, okay? And I want to know. Somebody needs to explain to me why Mike Vrabel, feels the way he. And I'm trying to find the cut on this. Because I want to, we'll get to it in Coach's Corner. That's fine. About McDaniels, because I think McDaniels so far, he and the special teams coordinator are doing the best job of any coaches on this team.
Yeah, I think they are too. You're right. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I never agree with you, but I agree with that.
So in this game tonight, how do they need to start? Because the starts of these games haven't been good, though. That's the thing. Now in the Carolina game, that first drive was not a good drive. It was 3 and out. It was a hand to Stevenson, and everybody wanted to, Vrabel listens to everybody. He listens to all the media because clearly Stevenson was on the field, and they made a concerted effort to get him the ball immediately to show everybody, hey, this is our guy.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think you can have a first drive like that again.
No, you can't. So listen, Chris. I think you need to have some offensive balance this week. I'm going to tell you why. Because the Bills' run defense has struggled, Chris. Buffalo's run defense has struggled, allowing a high number of rushing yards so far this season. So you can run the ball on Buffalo. So I think they're going to have to create a balance.
They allowed 189 yards rushing to the Saints.
Yeah. So you're going to have to create a balance this week, Chris, because you definitely can run the ball. Now, is that Ramondre Stevenson? No, not necessarily. I think the guy that looked the best last week, I was at the game, was Gibson. Yeah. Gibson looked good. Henderson, I don't know, Chris. I don't know if he's got the body to be a pounder. Like he's more of a San Francisco 49er running back to me, where you're doing the stretch runs and I don't necessarily know if Henderson fits what this offense expects out of a running back. He's going to have to. I think he's going to eventually. He's just going to be a third down back right now. But anyway, but create the balance. I think you're going to have to run the ball against his defense because you can. You're going to have to utilize Diggs because I don't think you have much else, right? I mean, Booty shows up in spots. You're going to have to, and listen, do they try to take Diggs out of the game? Maybe they do. And if they do, then Booty's going to have a big game. But you're going to have to try and utilize Diggs, Chris, because I think he's going to be amped up and ready to go against Buffalo in Buffalo. He showed last week that he's probably ready to roll. And another key this week, Chris, to me, Buffalo can get pressure on the quarterback. And we didn't talk about it. Wasn't an issue last week because Carolina defense, they struggled, they stunk. The offensive line didn't play bad last week, but the caliber that they were playing against was 3 notches below what they're facing this week, Chris. We're going to see what the offensive line does. Can they protect him? Because this week, Chris, he could be one of those weeks where he's got no time to do anything. They're going to have to protect him. Let's see what the left side of that line does.
Well, I mean, Buffalo gave up 3 sacks. Buffalo had 3 sacks last week.
They're going to have to protect.
So not a ton, but
they'll get pressure on the quarterback.
But New Orleans' offensive line isn't that bad either.
No,
they're
it's
a bad
not.
team. That's a bad team.
No, that's a bad football team.
But the offensive line's not that bad. I like the way our O-line has been playing. I'll tell you something right now. Ben Brown had a great game.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And we can't keep apologizing for the fact that Carolina sucks. I mean, it is what it is. But Ben Brown stepped in for Wilson, and I thought he played better than Wilson has played. Up to this point.
Chris, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Wilson is a center, and that's that's going to be his best position. But right now, you got somebody sitting in that position.
So protection wise, and they've protected. Not only have they protected, Josh McDaniels protected Campbell some with the chips and and those things, but they've also protected Moses on the other side too.
Yeah, they have.
You're going to see some of that. You're going to see a little bit of that. An offensive lineman would rather have a tight end in than a chip. Offensive linemen traditionally tackles don't like the chip block from the running back because it's uneven. It's never the same. You don't know what angle it's coming from. Sometimes it's just a little bit less reliable, and the defensive end can see it coming. Whereas when you have guys in like a tight end in to chip block and to help on the edge, that's what you've seen with New England a lot more, which is why you're seeing a lot of 12 personnel and you're seeing a lot of tight ends. So I think you're going to see a lot more 12 personnel. But when you talk about Diggs, okay, I got to correct something because all week long, let's listen to the game.
He takes the shotgun snap. He retreats in the pocket, deep drop pocket, holding, fires down the middle. There's Diggs, comes back to it at the 45 with a dive to the Carolina 42 outside the numbers.
This is great. You got your new slot receiver, Stephon Diggs, running the slot from the right side. They're in zone. All he does is cut upfield, gets to the secondary, the deepest guy, and it's a safety, and he cuts right across the middle, sits in there. He's good at reading zone. He's an experienced wide receiver, and he's starting to fill it. He catches everything you throw at him. So there's your new slot receiver. Amen.
Yeah, so that was Scott Zolak and Bob Sosi on the call. I disagree with you, Zoe. This is not your new slot guy, okay? He spent less time in the slot this past week than any other week. It's been his lowest percentage of snaps. Now, he played his highest percentage of snaps. I think he played like 63 or 65% of the snaps or whatever he played this week was Diggs I'm talking about. And he played only 40% of that in the slot, meaning he played the least amount of snaps he has to date in the slot this past week. So I need people to understand that. This is not your new slot guy. He's not playing exclusively in the slot. He played on the inside. He played on the outside. When I say inside, I don't mean slot. I mean the Z. I mean on the inside. He played opposite the X at times.
Yeah, I think Zoe exaggerated, Chris. I think on that particular play that he was describing, he might have been lined up in the slot. But to your point, Chris, he didn't do that all day. That's not what he was doing.
No. In fact, most of those production plays, that back shoulder throw, that corner route, that there was a little seam route too that he threw to him. One he short hop, but there was another seam route he threw to him. Those came with him on the outside. Those came when he was not in the slot. So his production plays came when he was not in the slot. This is not your slot receiver. You're still in search of your slot receiver, and I think he's on the roster.
You have him.
Yeah.
He's on the roster. He's
so why isn't? So I mean,
he's an actor.
Do we see Chisholm this week then?
No, nope. Just because of what Vrabel said about Douglas in his press conference, you're not going to see Chisholm. You brought that up to me. You said, Mark, he's praising his blocking.
This is what
he said. I got to praise it.
Was that an emphasis this week, a matchup you guys saw, or just where the ball was going?
No, that's just where the ball was going. And Steph and everybody's done a nice
pisses me
job.
off.
And if we continue just to believe in the quarterback that he's going to throw it to the guy who's open in the progression, that good things will happen. And we get down there in the red zone and everybody's going to score. We got plenty of plays down there. And if everybody just stays.
It's long-winded, too.
Stays the course and does the right things and does all the things that helps the team, that those plays are going to come for them in the red zone. It's just like the defensive line. And they want sacks and they want all this. But, Barmore's disrupting the quarterback and is getting holding calls. And I know I don't want him to be frustrated, but I see those things. Pop Douglas would have liked to have had a couple extra catches today, but he also turned and blocked, and Hunter Henry ran down the sidelines. And nobody's going to say that unless I say it. And so those are the things.
Oh, my
that
God.
Not the guy catching a touchdown. That's the easy part. The hard part's the guy that didn't get the ball thrown to him, that turns immediately and blocks his guy, and we score from.
He didn't get the ball thrown to him because he can't get open.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you, Mike. Thank you for putting us all in our place. Okay? Putting us all in our place for not giving props and love to the 6th round pick out of Liberty. Okay? That we both liked in the draft. We both liked him and Booty at that point in the draft, at the 6th round. Not to be your number 2 receiver,
By the way, we were the only 2 guys in the draft that in our pre-draft mentioned those 2 guys.
But they're loving this guy. And I like Douglas. I like him. He's a good guy. I mean, everything we say, all the criticism we say is not about personally. It's about the play.
He's struggling. Look, he's not getting open. He's struggling. Listen, it's okay, Mike, to say.
And he played his lowest amount of snaps he has to date.
It's not that he's not catching any balls because he's open. He's not catching balls because he's not open, Mike. You're missing the point, Mike.
But it's lip service. It's all bullshit,
lip
Mark.
Service.
Because he played the least amount of snaps he's played all season long, did Douglas.
He thinks does Vrabel think that the media, like you and I are listening to this and we're stupid? Like, does he think we're dumb? Really?
Like, do we think Douglas is really going to be on this team next year?
No. Listen, Chisholm will be your slot guy next year. Douglas won't be on this team. Stevenson won't be on this team. But trust me.
Right. Mike,
and then he uses that
Chisholm can make that same block.
But then Vrabel used that smart ass remark sometimes where, I don't know about you. I don't know how smart you are, but I'm an Ohio State guy. Ohio State, shut up.
Do we have? Yeah, we have time. We have as much time as we want. Let me tell you a quick.
We got time.
Let me tell you a quick Ohio State story, Mr. Vrabel. Okay, I'm going to tell you Ohio State story. When I first moved to Arizona, okay, I had a beverage business. Okay, Dell's Lemonade. I had everybody there knows Dell's Lemonade, right?
Can they sponsor us, Dell's? Come on.
And I had the rights to Arizona, and I had it in the stadiums. So I had it in Cardinals and Arizona Cardinals and Arizona State. Well, I had the bowl game, so Fiesta Bowl. So one year, Ohio State was playing Notre Dame. You was going to come, and you couldn't come.
Yep.
And it was great to see Notre Dame, with Notre Dame fans. Yeah. We the music, the thing. So Ohio State beat them. And at the end of the game, the Notre Dame band was in formation coming through the concourse to leave or whatever. Okay. And they're walking and they're crying. The kids are upset. Their team lost the game. And they're kids, they're college kids. Mark.
Yeah.
Well, the Ohio State fans that are all around are giving it to them. I mean, to the band, okay, giving it to them. I mean, they're giving it to, and these are grown ass people doing this, not like students. These are grown ass people, okay, doing this. All right, they're giving it to these kids. So one of these fools comes over to the stand. You know, I had about 8 locations, and I'm over there in the main unit, and and they come in there. So, "Oh, you guys still open?" I said, we're not selling you anything. They're like, "Why not?" I'm like, "I just watched the way you berated that Notre Dame, those kids over there. I said, you think I'm going to sell you anything, you jerk?" I said, "You're a buffoon." I said, and they're laughing. I said, "What's the matter? You couldn't get into Notre Dame? You had to go to Ohio State." There's my Ohio State story, Mike Vrabel. Okay, so there you go. So it's it. I didn't sell it.
I love it.
But yeah, I mean, listen, I think you got to give this kid Chisholm a chance. He would have knifed through, right? That play in the previous game they lost.
But Chris, you're not going to see him based on that comment that Vrabel just made. You're not seeing him this week. You're not going to see this kid for a while.
No. Hey, listen, I value the unsung heroes. I value the hustle plays too. But what are you assuming that Chisholm can't? Why is a guy that went to Liberty and was drafted in the 6th round valued that much higher than a guy that went to Eastern Washington and broke every one
kind of records? Yeah,
every one of Cooper Kupp's records. Why is he valued high? Who had a better camp? Why is one of those guys valued? It's not like this guy went to LSU or Notre Dame or Doug. I don't understand that, Mark.
I don't get it, Chris. I don't. The only way Chisholm's going to see the field, Chris, is if Douglas gets hurt. But Douglas isn't on the field long enough to get hurt. So
the ultimate key to victory offensively is what?
The ultimate key to victory to me, Chris, is you're going to have to use balance this week to keep the pass rush off May. Balance, and when it's there, May's going to have to take his shots and get in space down the field, but they're going to have a balanced attack this week. When this game's over, Chris, if it's close or if the Patriots won, you're going to see Drake May threw the ball 24 times. They ran the ball 28 times. They ran the ball for 150 yards.
Right.
May threw for 240, couple of touchdowns. They ran in a couple of touchdowns in the red zone. That would be the stat line if this is a field goal game or the Patriots pull the upset.
Yeah, same. Set protections well. Play in front of the sticks. No penalties. This will be the game, Mike, where you're proven wrong. If you go and commit 10 penalties,
Chris,
in
if
this
they're
game.
not disciplined this week, now you're playing a good team. You're not playing a shitbag team. You're playing a good team this week.
You know how you came out and said we need to be good enough to take advantage of bad football? Well, 7, 8, 10 penalties is bad football, and they'll take advantage of that. So you better play ahead of the sticks and keep your offense in moving forward, not backwards. But this portion of Pat's preview was presented by Corso Law Group, CorsoLawGroup.com. We come back, going to go to the other side of the ball, talk a little defense, then get the coach's corner, all that and more. No flipping.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys.
It looks completely different than what I thought it was going to look like. Before the season, I figured if the Patriots are the first 4 games, if they're successful, I picked them for 1-3 in the first 4 games. If they were better than that, then you figured the defense would probably be the way that they would do it, that the offense would be slowly growing. Drake May, each week getting a little bit more comfortable, but I didn't think that we would really see the offense cook a little bit, especially the passing offense like they have in the past 3 games until closer to the midway point of the season. But, for them to be 2-2, have not been impressed with the defense. Well, the Panthers had 7 of their 10 drives went into Patriots territory. I figured that the defense and the special teams would really be carrying this team. They'd win some low-scoring games. It'd be, Vrabel and Stretch and these guys, maximizing everything they got out of the team to, be a 2-2 team after 4 games. And it just, it hasn't been that way. I mean, they haven't played, totally clean. They're sort of Jekyll and Hyde with the turnovers. The penalties are an issue every single week. They were in this game.
Every week.
again, but it's really been Drake May in the offense.
Okay, so that was Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal, and I wanted to play that cut, Mark, coming back in to talk about the defense, to open this discussion up, because he's right. You know, we thought the defense was going to be the calling card for this team, and it's not. Why? Now, Gonzalez was out. Got it.
Gonzalez was out. Get it? Because, Chris, the middle of the field is a mess. The linebackers, the safeties, like they're not what we thought. Like he brought in, Gibbons. He brought in what the hell's Spillane.
Spillane, yeah.
They're okay. They're not sideline to sideline guys, Chris. They're not. They're not what Vrabel needs, I think, on this defense. Those guys, they're an upgrade from what they had last year, but they're really not what they need still. I think that's why they're struggling, Chris. I think the defensive line has played well. The edge is a little suspect at times, but the middle of the 50 room, they've struggled.
Mark, last week, okay, this defense allowed, I want to talk about the running. This defense allowed 130 yards rushing to Carolina. Okay. And, so it was 28 attempts. They had 129 yards. They averaged 4.5 a carry.
They're facing James Cook this week.
Mark, the Buffalo ran for 100 and let me make sure this is right. They rushed for 165 yards last week. Cook had 22 carries for 117 yards, average 5 with a touchdown. Josh Allen moved that ball 45 yards and a touchdown. So those are two guys right there. 165 yards rushing.
From two guys. The quarterback and the running back.
So this is, to me, the crux of this game. Because when I look at Buffalo's wide receivers, when I look at their receiving core, okay, and I see Shakur he's good, he's shifty, he's quick, okay.
Yeah.
He had 5 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown last week, okay? But when past that, okay, what do they have on the outside? Curtis Samuel?
Not much.
Nothing. Not much.
Not much.
Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman, Chris, was the receiver that you and everybody was raving about. They moved up to get him. We weren't crazy about him coming out of the draft, and we were correct again about another receiver.
Right.
Right?
Because they only threw for 210 yards last week, did Allen. So my point is this. Our biggest fear coming into this season, okay, on the defensive side of the ball was the size of our defensive line, the ability to be able to stop the run. Now, they look like crap last week in setting edge too.
Well, I was just going to say to you, Chris,
Jennings.
If you don't set the edge and maintain rush lanes against this team, you got a major problem, Chris.
And the only time I recognized White last week was when he blew an edge.
Yeah, because if you get too far upfield, Chris, Allen's gonna go escape right out of the pocket and go right up the field.
So I will say that I think Tonga will have a lot of play this week. I think Farmer will be in the game a lot. I think you're going to see him at times look to a 5-man front to bring a little bit extra down there. You're gonna
have to come up with some kind of containment, right, for Allen?
You have to come up with containment, and you can do that with wide nines, and you can try to set that way. You can't play man. See, this is the problem with this team now, okay? Yep. So when you're going against Josh Allen, trying to play man coverage against them, which is what New England wants to do, they like to do. They got Gonzalez back. They can say, well, you can lock up on Coleman or you can lock up on Shakur, and you're fine. You play, Davis. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that Gonzalez and Davis can lock those two guys down.
Yep.
Okay. The problem becomes, what the hell happens? What happens with containing Allen? What happens when you turn your back to the ball? Because, you're not going to come out and you come out and cover 2. If you come out and cover 2 deep look, you're inviting them to run the ball against you. Is that what you really want to do with your undersized defensive front? I don't think so. There's going to have to be a combination, Mark, of lock up on outsides and zone the middle of the. You can do it. You could do matchup. You could do match man and zone in the middle so that you keep yourself forward. Because if Allen gets out and goes, the middle of our field sucks.
So Chris
sucks.
So I know you mentioned Tonga, right? So Tonga, Bondmore, Williams. It's safe to say then, Chris, they're going to have to show some gap discipline and close those interior gaps and hope your edge guys can keep Allen from breaking outside. Because if you don't, you're gonna he'll rush for 80, 90 yards this week.
It's not a weak to high pressure the quarterback to bring loads of heat. It's the time to make him sit there and deliver the football. This is the week to make Josh Allen sit in that pocket and play quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. And see if Coleman and see if Shakur can get open against those guys. Because like I said, you can match them. You don't have to play man across the board.
Chris, do you use Mapu as a spy defender this week?
You need to, because he's got the speed to be able to do it. So you got to have somebody that's have eyeballs. It's a great idea, Mark. It's a great point to spy him.
All right.
But you're going to have to stop the run to begin with. Buffalo knows that New England is light, heavy-wise. They can get out and they can run the ball against you. And they did it against New Orleans. They're going to want to do it again against you. Okay? And so those are the things that worry me. The middle of this field really worries me. Again. Now, this Kincaid, again, they got a tight end that we're going to have to cover.
Well, I was just going to say to you, Chris, the middle of the field with the tight ends may kill. Kincaid and Knox, right?
And Cook, too, out of the backfield.
Yep, they got two real capable tight ends, Chris. And that is an Achilles for us, is the tight end.
Yeah, Knox and Kincaid.
Yeah, Knox and Kincaid, right? So,
Are they up to this challenge?
They can be, Chris, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they have shown the discipline up to this point in the season to do it. I mean, are you really that confident in this defense? You've been all over them.
No.
Do you think they have the discipline to do what you just described?
No, I don't think they have the horses to do it. I don't think they're good enough.
They don't have the horses to do it either. Okay.
No, I don't think they're good enough. I don't think they're good enough in the middle of the field. I don't think their safeties are good enough. The only saving grace in this is, the secondary's gotten beat up over the last several weeks. You're not playing a lot of real good receivers.
And
so I guess you can't.
Woodson is back at safety. He's healthy again. He missed a game, right?
Yeah, which I like him. I actually like him. I like Woodson down in the slot more so than Jones.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
I know we're over. So listen,
That's
I know this is what we got to. It's what has to be. You're going to have to at some point shore up the middle of this field somehow. Okay. And to me, the things I'm worried about this week are Cook running the ball against you at will, and them just moving our front. And then when we load in that box, I'm really, really, really concerned about the release of these tight ends. And I'm not worried about the outsides. I'm not worried about Allen throwing the ball down the field. I'm not concerned about it. Okay, I'm concerned about stopping the run. I'm concerned about devoting someone. I would even be so bold as to do a spy. We call it sky, but a robber situation with a safety and allow cover 3 over the top of that at times. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
To load that middle of the field so Allen doesn't have anywhere to go, the backs don't have anywhere to go, and the tight ends don't have anywhere to go. That's the key to me this week, Mark. So
I agree. I agree with that analogy, Chris. That is the key this week on defense.
We'll see what happens, but we want to talk a little on the other side about. Want to go to Coach's Corner and talk a little bit about Mike Vrabel and what he had to say about Josh McDaniels. We got Sunday spread and locks of the week and so much more. Stick around.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to corsolawgroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys.
Back in with more Pats Nation. All right, Mark, let's go into the coaches room a little bit. Talk a little Coach's Corner.
Coach's Corner.
It's not only Josh. I mean, I enjoy working with Josh. I enjoy working with that entire offensive staff. It's good coaches on that side. There's a lot of collaboration, and I like kind of where we are from an efficiency standpoint. Just trying to, to work ahead and be detailed, and making sure that everybody is doing their roles and assignments, and we work the run game, and then kind of Josh and Thomas and Todd and Ashton will work some of the passing game, and when it goes to third down, and then we all get together on red zone, and those things certainly paid off last week. So, been able to marry some plays, and when you can convert and you can string some drives together, or some plays together, then things look alike, and then that all complements. We've talked about that before, and when you just live in a 3-and-out world and you're not extending drives, it's hard to marry those plays.
Yeah, it was, of course, Mike Vrabel. When asked about Josh McDaniels, you wouldn't know that he asked about Josh McDaniels because he only answered that question for the first 4 words of that diatribe. Guy's long-winded, though, isn't he?
Oh, you went on a rant on Corso Catone yesterday about the pettiness of Vrabel. Can you talk about that? Like, why is it you went off yesterday? Why is he being petty? Why,
Mark,
why was that a petty, why?
Right now, the 2 best coaches on this team, okay, are Josh McDaniels and Springer. The right? And their staff.
Yep.
And their staff. Okay.
Yeah.
That's who's producing right now.
Yep.
So what's your problem, man? What's your problem, man? Like, you're asked the question about your OC, who's doing a real good job with your second-year quarterback, okay, is getting him to understand a real complicated offense. That last I checked, I mean, we can BS all we want and talk about Matt Castle and talk about Hoyer. We're talking about these other guys that had some success in it. There's only one guy that ran this offense and ran it really, really, really efficiently, and that was Tom Brady.
Of course.
Until this guy. Okay? So McDaniels is doing a great job. I think his play calling, I mean, there are times that but I think he's doing a great job. He comes up with calming plays, the way I complimented O'Connell in Minnesota for doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's your problem, man? What, because you didn't pick him? Because Bob Kraft picked him? And this is where you are like Parcells, and this is where you are like Belichick, where you're going to be a little pissy, going to get a little pissant friggin' temper tantrum every time somebody asks you about Josh McDaniel. Oh, we all get along, but here are my guys. Oh, no. Yeah, I like working with Josh. And also this guy, the guy I brought in. I mean, that bullshit, Mark, is gonna, like, that to me, that kind of pettiness, that kind of egotistical, arrogant, petty crap is so damn off-putting.
Yeah.
Especially to your quarterback, where I don't think he gives him enough love either. But whatever. That I get. I get that part of it. That he needs to maintain that, stay grounded stuff with May. Yeah. But with McDaniels, you need to show your quarterback that I got full faith, full everything in your OC. Because when things go bad, like they may tonight,
yeah,
the guy that's sitting next to May on the bench needs to be a guy that's respected by May. So you better show it. Am I wrong?
No, listen, 10,000%. I agree with that whole take because, it's ridiculous, Chris, that he's that way because you didn't choose him because Kraft said to you, well, then you shouldn't have taken the job. If you were that hell-bent on bringing in your own OC, you should have told Bob Kraft, Bob, if I can't bring in my own OC, if you're making me take McDaniels, I'm not taking the job. You didn't do that. The fact that you accepted the job, except Josh, everybody nationally is saying how well May is doing. That's not by coincidence.
No.
It's because Josh is doing a good job getting him to understand what he's supposed to do, how to run this offense, how this offense works. Oh, and by the way, he's doing it with crap personnel around him, a.k.a. your buddy who made the block, Mike Douglas, Pop Douglas. He's doing it with crap personnel around him. So yeah, well, you couldn't have given Josh some props and say, oh yeah, Josh is doing a great job. He's working with Josh. He's, they're in sync, and it was a very easy question.
Last time I checked, what have you won? What the hell have you ever won, Vrabel? Because the last I checked, your teams in Tennessee for the last 2-3 years of your career,
they stunk. They stunk.
They stunk. Your winning percentage sucked. Your penalties per game, your turnovers per game, your quarterback play. You couldn't keep guys in the building, okay, from leaving. So your record, what the hell have you won? Because last time I checked, McDaniels got more rings than you. Okay, and he's got rings as a coach. And you could say, oh, it's all because of Brady. It's all because of Brady. Okay, fine. Say it, whatever. But he still got him. He was there on the biggest stage as a coach. You have not been. You have not been. So give the guy his due. Give him his props. Instead of giving it to the stiff you gave your game ball to a few weeks ago, and because Terrell Williams is out, and God, our prayers are with
him
for a full recovery.
He's a nice man. Our prayers are with him and his family.
But you want to give the stiff that's backing him up a game ball, and when the defense looked like crap in Miami, they look like crap too. It sucks so bad.
They're terrible.
You're a toe away. You're stepping out of bounds away from losing that game because your defense stunk in that game.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're giving that dude a game ball? It's a bad look, Vrabel. It's a bad look. So this is the guy you're married to now. So let's give him the props. I just had to,
All right. Well, that's the end of that segment.
I mean, I had to. But Mark, overall, coaching wise, I mean, we talked about, and the special teams has been fantastic. It's been great. Yeah. Defensively, though, I mean, he needs to focus more. We got to get to Sunday spread, I know, but he got to focus more on. Why doesn't he focus more on his defense and get his nose out of the offense a little more?
He's very apologetic of the defense, Chris.
It's unbelievable.
Very apologetic. And you've been bringing that up constantly, that he's very apologetic for this defense.
Can't have how many 3-and-outs are you going to have and then not score, Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. How many times did Carolina get into your zone? 7. That garbage bag trash barrel of a team got into your zone 7 times, Mark.
Well, let me tell you something, Chris. He better create and mix up man and zone coverage, which you mentioned. He better create some conflicting reads for Allen. You're going to have to do some different things, Chris. You're going to have to disguise pre-snap what you're doing. Post-snap, you're going to have to rotate into different defenses. If you don't do that this week, Allen is going to have a field day against this team. So he better pay attention to the defense because he's going to have to do a lot of that stuff to stay in this game.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But let's see if we can want to make people some money, Mark. Let's talk Sunday spread a little bit.
We have to pay the bills.
We got to pay the bills. We want to make you out there some money. I can't find that little stupid thing he plays for the
the little casino thing. Yeah,
casino thing.
You know what?
Well, Mark, let's talk about this week. Let's pick this game. Tonight's game. It's an 8.5. It's a Patriots are getting 8.5 points. It's a 50.5 point over under. What do you think? There it is.
Oh, there it is. I'll tell you what, Chris. I think the Patriots are going to lose, but I think they're going to cover the spread.
Okay.
I think the score of this game is going to be 31-27, 31-24. I think we keep it between 3 and 7. I think the offense has a good week, scores some points, but defensively, I just don't think you can hold. It's going to be like a 31-24 game, 31-20 Buffalo, but I think New England will cover.
So I think it's going to be a close game, all the way through, and I think we're just not going to be able to stop them enough, and I think it's going to be like a 35-28 game. It's going to be within I think it's going to be within one score. I think if you're betting the game, I would bet New England. I don't think 8.5 points. I don't think, in other words, I don't think they're going to go tonight. I don't think they go in there and just get their ass kicked.
No, I don't think they will.
Because I just don't think McDaniels is going to allow offensively them in his play calling. He's going to want to slow things down.
Yeah. Yep.
And I feel like there won't be that gap throughout the whole game. And there may be even a time in this game when New England's leading, because I'll tell you something. Watching Buffalo last week I saw you didn't get to see it because you were at the game. Watching Buffalo against New Orleans, New Orleans had opportunity out the ass to win that game last week. Out the ass, and they couldn't do it. I mean, they had many times that they could have won that game. And it was
caller.
Yeah, that's right, the play caller. And they could have.
There we go. He brought it back.
So, I think Buffalo will be a little more amped up for this game, but I see a 35-28 game, Mark. What else you got? You got a lock of the week. Make people money.
My lock of the week, Chris, at home. They're going to get A.J. Brown happy again. I think that it's, depending on what site you're looking at, they're 3.5, 4-point favorites at home. I think Denver stinks. Philadelphia's going to lay an ass kicking on Denver in Philadelphia. So I love Philadelphia. That's my best bet of the week.
What's the line? What's the spread in the game?
I think it's like 4, 3.5, 4, depending on what site you're looking at.
Yeah.
If you said one game, that's my best bet of the week.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find that. It's 3.5. Yeah,
3.5.
Yeah, I like that. I thought about that. The other game I looked at, and this is interesting because I don't know if I guess it's trending towards him not playing. And again, we're recording a little early, so I don't know if Lamar Jackson's out, but I think he's going to be out.
Yeah, I think he's trending towards not playing, Chris.
But even with that, I think Houston has been a pile of trash this year. I know they won last week.
Yeah, they have been.
Houston's favored. Baltimore's a home dog, a 2.5 home dog, coming off that terrible loss. Okay, because I think that's a terrible loss. Because I don't think Kansas City's very good either. So I think Baltimore bounces back even without Jackson in this game.
Okay.
I think they're not going to be able to. And I think Baltimore's going to roll over Houston in this game, even without Lamar Jackson. I like that game. You got another one?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a nice teaser, a nice 2-team teaser. Berry, Philadelphia, and Arizona. Tennessee, you want to talk about trash? Tennessee is trash. You and I both said that quarterback's not the number 1 pick in the draft. He's trash. Arizona tease him down at home, and Philadelphia is a lock.
Arizona's a 7.5 point favorite, so you want it down to about 1.5.
A lock.
Okay, and that tease. I like this week Washington. I got picking hard games this week. Washington is at the Chargers, which is really no home field advantage. No. Washington's getting 2.5 points, and I believe this is going to be.
Is Daniels playing again?
I think he's going to play this week.
Okay.
And so I like Washington to go in there to charge. You know what? The Chargers pissed me off last week. Okay, that team to go in and lose to the Giants, who I think is a trash bag team too. Yeah, and Neighbors went out in that game too. And
in the first quarter, by the way, and you still lost.
And you still lost to the Giants, Chargers. That's unacceptable. So I like the 2.5 points, and I also like Dallas this week. Dallas is at the Jets, and they're a favorite. Dallas has given the Jets 2.5 points. The Jets are just, that team. I think that team's quit on their. I think the team has basically quit on the coach already.
Yeah, the Jets are the Jets.
So take Dallas, and I like teasers across the board. And remember, like we talk about all the time, you bet for want, not for need. Bet responsibly, Mark.
Yes, absolutely.
Before we go, A.J. Brown is disgruntled.
Oh, you're dreaming. You're in La La Land. He ain't going anywhere. We're not going to get rid of him.
We talked about it, though, didn't we?
We did.
He's disgruntled.
He was putting stuff on X, whatever it is, that he's disgruntled. He's not. You can tell he's not happy, but we'll see. That's why I think they're going to feed him this week, and they're going to win big.
I hope they don't.
I hope they don't, too, for the Patriots' sake.
Trade him Gonzalez in a pick and get this guy in the house.
Oh, I'd trade Gonzalez in a minute to them.
Good stuff, Mark. So we gotta go. So Pats Nation was presented by Carson and Catone, Saturdays, noon Eastern. Hey, we're gonna have our breakdown of this Bills game along with Catone's comments, baseball players, and so much more. And come back next weekend to this show, 8 a.m. Eastern. We're gonna have our pregame breakdown of the Patriots Saints game, that garbage team coming in. We'll talk. I think we go there. So we'll be going to Saints, and we'll break that game down as we are the first pregame show of the day. But we are the Pats Nation. Hey, enjoy the game.